Hey guys, Dr. Brown here with Kubo Math, and today we're going to look at just some basic trig functions and then do some manipulation of those calculations. So let's get after it. Okay, if you have a unit circle here and a coordinate running through that, and you know the unit circle, the radius is 1. So if I have a angle in here, we'll call the angle theta. So this hypotenuse, let's say I have x here, I have y. So we know x squared plus y squared equals the hypotenuse squared. Now in our case, the hypotenuse is the radius of this unit circle, so it's 1. So I have x squared plus y squared equals 1. Okay, well, let's look at the angles here. Let's look at cosine of the angle. Say cosine of theta, we know cosine is the adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So it's x over 1. Well, wow, cosine of theta is x over 1. Well, x over 1 is just x. So we could say, well, that's just equal to x. Well, let's look at sine of the angle. So sine of theta equals the opposite over hypotenuse, which is y over 1, which is just y. So if we take that information back to this formulation, x is cosine theta. So cosine theta squared plus y squared, which is sine theta, plus sine squared theta equals 1. So this is a very commonly used trig identity. So keep this one in mind. And sometimes maybe it may be that we just have cosine square. Well, that's 1 minus sine square. Or maybe we have in our formulation or formula the sine square. Well, we might need to convert that to 1 minus cosine square. So keep that in mind. Okay, so what else could we look at here? Tangent. If we have tangent of an angle, we know that's the opposite over adjacent. So tangent of theta is y over x. So tangent theta is y over x. Oh, what did we say? Y was sine. So tangent, I'll just write it here, that equals sine theta over x, which was cosine theta. That's a very commonly used way of representing tangent, is converting that into sine theta over cosine theta. Now you're familiar with some other items here. Cosine can also be, there's an inverted cosine. So 1 over cosine theta, and that equals, it's something called secant theta. 1 over sine theta is cosecant theta, and 1 over tangent theta is cotangent theta. So those are some things to commit to memory actually. Okay? All right, now let's work a few problems. With this information, what can we do with this? Now we have sine x plus cotangent x times cosine x. So this is times each other. Well, sine x plus, what was cotangent? Well, cotangent then is 1 over tangent. But we could think in terms of sine and cosine. Since I have a cosine and a sine, let me convert this. If tangent is sine over cosine, cotangent then is cosine over sine. Okay, in this case we have an x instead of theta. So let's convert cotangent into cosine x over sine x, and that's times cosine x. Well, now I have I can't add apples and oranges here, so I need to multiply this side by 1, which I'm going to make that a sine x over sine x. So I can change this to sine squared x, and all of these now will be over sine x. So I have sine squared x, and then cosine x times cosine x gives me cosine squared x. Oh, think about that. Sine squared x plus cosine squared x. Sine squared plus cosine, that equals 1. So we have 1 over sine x. Well, what did we say 1 over sine was? It's cosecant. Okay? So we could change that to cosecant x. 1 over sine is cosecant. So this ends up being cosecant x. Okay? Not bad so far. Hopefully everybody's been studying. Trig is a super useful math if you're going into engineering of any kind. It's something you need to master. Okay, we have cotangent x divided by cosecant x minus sine x. Well, cotangent, we just worked that just a moment ago. We said that was cosine x over sine x. And that's divided by cosecant, which is 1 over sine x minus sine x. Well, we have a compound fraction here. We could multiply this by sine x over sine x. So if we multiply this, cosine over sine times sine, we end up with just cosine x over sine x is 1 minus sine squared x. Oh, look at this. 1 minus sine square would be cosine square. So we have cosine x over cosine squared x. So this, well, let me rewrite this as cosine x divided by cosine x times cosine x. I'll do it that way. One of those cancel, and it gives me 1 over cosine x. Well, what was 1 over cosine? It's secant. So this ends up being secant x. Okay, 2 down. We'll do one more, call it a day. Hopefully everybody is, like I said earlier, just study, study, study. All right, secant x. Work as many problems as you possibly can. Minus cosine x over sine x. Well, secant. What is secant? That's 1 over cosine x minus cosine x divided by sine x. Well, let's multiply this by cosine x over cosine x. So cosine times 1 over cosine gives me 1 minus, oh, this is going to work out again, cosine squared x divided by sine x times cosine x. Okay, 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So I have sine squared x over sine x cosine x. So one of these, you know, this is sine times sine, so one of those divides out. So I'm left, well, let me make that more clear. I've got sine x times sine x divided by sine x cosine x. One of those divides out and I'm left with sine over cosine. Well, what is sine over cosine? Sine over cosine is tangent. So that equals tangent x. Okay, this is a fairly short video, but I wanted to introduce you to sine and cosine, the unit circle, and some of those various calculations that can be performed. In the future, I'd like for us to work a lot of word problems associated with trig, because that, in my mind, that prefaces you for the engineering side of things. Okay, that's all for now. Why are we doing this? So that together we can build a better tomorrow, and do that through math. Hey, buy a kid a book. Support your local school. The kids there need it, okay? All right, that's all for now. Talk to you next time. Thank you.